I just want to say this, right? Because in this country, like, I feel like the most targeted or the most emotionally unstable would be men and children. The most happen to men and children. Well, that's probably not statistically right because a lot of women are dying from domestic violence and other things. But with all of this being said, I think there should be protection acts. I think that Trump should be having like more internet cafes in different communities and different states because not only should adults have like internet cafes, there should be like some type of mandated kind of like places for middle-aged kids and like high school students to go after school, because adult to like college students, they have big places for them to be able to be secure and safe. Like in certain communities in different states, they might have a community center and stuff, but there's not like any internet cafes where kids can go and sit down and be on their phones. Not a club, just a place where there's probably like light jazz music, maybe a little bit of computers and just Wi-Fi, just for kids to have a safe space. There's no safe space for children, teenagers, middle-aged students. It's like school, after school program, straight home. And that sucks for a lot of children, not just African American or, you know, minorities. It's for the white kids too, because maybe after school they have more extracurricular activities than our race does. But that doesn't mean that, these children don't deserve more of a, more of a better approach. He's so fixed on getting rid of the Board of Education, but what about the security of education, the security of the children? I mean, I feel like Trump's biggest thing is erasing the history of the most populated race because he doesn't want to feel like, he's, I guess you could say, he's not belittled to like the black race or anything. He wants to feel superior. So with Trump being a superior being, he thinks that it is okay to, dismantle the education system to erase African American history. But that is not going to fly because there's too many African American scholars, too many people that still have those books inside of their homes. You can take those books from the institutions. You can take those books from, maybe the internet. You can take Sojourner Truth off of the Hall of Fame of, famous leaders, but you can't take that out of the hearts, the minds, and the homes of real, true African Americans, okay? With that being said, Trump, we need more protection acts. We need internet cafes for people in like high school and middle school, because a lot of kids are like train surfing, they're rioting, they're doing like a lot of damage to this country, and those are going to be our future adults. Those are going to be the ones that take care of us. Like Trump is just set on this generation that is here, like these 80s babies and these 2000 millennial kids. They do need fathers, but we still need a country that keeps the children safe, because they turn out to be adults that are unstable. Literally, like, I feel like if I grew up in a space where I was able to go to a center or internet cafe or maybe a positive leader, because there was not a lot of centers that was open after 5 p.m. But if there was places to go after at least 7, 8, like, at least let them places close at like 9. They have nothing for these kids. Like every state we're in, like sometimes I get so stuck on New York City that I only think this is the only place on earth. But it's worse places than this. There's California, there's down south, there's upstate, there's a whole world of children being misled, children being discredited, discarded, children being stolen, and all type of things. And we have to protect these babies, because these adults that we're seeing now that are unstable, it is because of their parents that didn't fight for them. Their parents did not fight hard enough for these adults that are unstable. So the big objective for this country, for the mass shootings, for the murder and thievery and dishonesty, let's protect the children for every generation to come. Because not only do we have a global warming problem, we have an adult crisis problem. These people are killing each other. We have an adult crisis now that is really important because the adults are causing global warming. The adults are the murderers. The adults are doing these things. So just like Trump said, he doesn't really care for gun rights and gun laws because he feels like people kill people and guns don't kill people. He needs to understand that those people that you think need background checks and classes to own a gun, those same individuals were children that were hurt, children that were, you know, not checked on. And it's always those white kids that CPS doesn't check on because we have this irate, disgusting, oblivious, just gory, nasty place that takes children from parents, and they do it mostly to parents that aren't having anything but allegations towards them. There's no form of physical anything on children, but it's a place called ACS and CPS that work with police, work with your enemies to take your children from you. And that is a part of the systematic government program to make black people the problem. They want to make us irate. That's why we have to keep the peace at all times. Malcolm was right, and so was Martin. You keep the peace and you educate yourself. So you can't be undermined, belittled. All they can do is stalk you. When you're educated like Martin and empowered and so much of a conqueror like Malcolm, and you're just this beautiful, vocal, like Michael Jackson album. Like, you're just this poetic, justice, beautiful soul. You need to fight for what's right in your community first, okay? Because this country is so economical and financial that they forget about the emotional well-being of its citizens. And it's not fair to the children who have to witness a lot of the systemic racism, the systemic abuse, and the, you know, the, what is this word I'm trying to get? It's like the removal of black history. Like, they're just trying to make America great again. How you doing? By creating more slaves. They're trying to make America great again by creating more fear. But this world was not built on fear, violence, and greed. This world was built on love, knowledge, and truth. That's what this world was built on. Thank you so much. People say my eyes are like this, but I don't know. But thanks. We have this world that was built on love, wisdom, and truth. And just God's authority will not allow anyone to dismantle or, you know, if you're just not handling this world right, God is going to expose you. And I think that Trump is still here because not only is he going to do things and make mistakes, but he's learning that this land is your land, this land is my land. Okay? It ain't just yours, baby. Us, minorities, have voices. And it's unfortunate that we don't know how to create laws. We don't know how to try to get in this constitution of bias, illegitimacy, just greed. We don't have that knowledge to get into those places and be a voice for our people. But I pray to God that one day that him and his son will give a voice to the voiceless and that we could break these systems down that have done nothing but create a separation in the minority community. Because it's very unfortunate that CPS has a lot of cases of minority children being taken away from their parents, but in the same sense, these white men are the ones that's killing people, shooting up schools, kidnapping, and doing all type of crazy stuff. These minority men are being fed drugs in the prison system. They're being fed drugs on the streets. They're being arrested from selling drugs that somebody planted in their community. And we call it mental illness, but I actually think it's an emotional break. Like, these men are just so emotionally damaged for like the things they were told they couldn't do, that they, the things they seen their family go through for the due to the systemic, the routine that they had for black people in those times. Anybody that's an 80s baby, a 70s baby, a 90s baby is gonna tell you that, especially any minority person, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s were a whole different time. The only place that you can go to find that energy is Brooklyn, okay? Brooklyn is still ghetto, just like those days. You're still going to see the custies, the drama, the this, the that, the that. They're making everything in certain cities like upscale, glass, big windows. They're trying to upgrade. They need to upgrade the projects, okay? They need to knock the projects down or rebuild them from the inside out, because it's actually disgusting, and I can't wait. I hope we go green. This whole world goes green within a year, and things could be like more electrical or more like, I'm tired of these gas stoves, and it's just a lot of things that we need changed. And Trump, you need to get more into saving this country instead of thinking that you can make it better. Try to save this country, Trump. Because you can't make something better that you guys already destroyed. All you can do is fix it. Just fix it. Fix America. Okay? Make the cities great. Make the different states great. You're talking about making America great. We've been great. We never stopped being great. So, the children, the high school students, the middle school students, they need internet cafes. They need a Kid Olympics. I had an idea, right? One time I had this dream about a program, an organization called Kid Olympics. I was in my dream, it was like clothing line, stuff like that. And I was thinking, like, before I went to sleep, I was thinking about like making something for my son. But when I woke up, basically I Googled the name and tried to check the copyright, and it was already copywritten. So I was like, okay, I probably want to do Kid Olympics, but these communities need gyms. Like, we don't have any gymnastics gyms for African Americans, and I feel like because they don't want too many African American minority children learning those things, because they know that we're going to excel in that sport, and then that whole Olympics thing is going to be more colored than usual, because you don't see a lot of swimming that for African Americans. You don't see that. You don't see swimming. You don't see the snowboarding for African Americans. You don't see gymnastics for African Americans so much. Simone Biles is so like, she's so underrated, because what she did for the black culture was so big. Like, what's the sisters? I almost called them twins. But Venus and Serena are so important to the culture, because they change the view of who we are told that we are. It makes no sense that our black problems will never compare to what anybody else in this world has to deal with. Like, no race, no Italian, no Russian, no Jamaican, no African. None of these people will have to deal with any of the hardships that an American citizen had to bear. Okay? Even in those huts in those countries, it's like they are taught a certain unity that we just won't ever know. In America, we're like taught to hate each other and use each other, or like whatever the case may be, because people in America, like different states you go to, it's just like there's not much real love. Like you go to the South and you see loving, kind people, you see unity, maybe some places in the South, but like these cities and these states are like whitewashed, unfortunately, and we need to stop the whitewashing of this country, because there's nothing white about this country. If this country was built on whites, if America was great because of white people and because of people respecting Caucasians, then that would mean that Jesus wasn't black. There was no such thing as Israelites and Egyptians. This world was built on the backs of African Americans. So let's respect African Americans. Let's respect all children of all races, so we don't have any more adults that are shooting up schools, killing women, killing themselves. Okay? Don't try to get involved in the education system because you want to dismantle the black history inside of it, okay? The Department of Education didn't do anything to anyone. All it did was educate children to be better American or better human beings. So when these kids go to school, it's not what makes them learn that makes them a better person. It's what they're able to decipher. If a child goes home to an unstable parent due to systemic racism or anything that this parent is dealing with, who knows? Like, that child is not going to necessarily be a perfect kid if the parent is not healthy. So let's make sure that the children and these adults are getting fed the right things. We have to feed these children, feed these adults the right things. I am a truth teller. Like, since I was a kid, I just couldn't lie. Like, I always been like, you're not the cops, you're not a judge, and you're not God, so what am I lying to you for? So, it's like, we live in a world where people are just evil. Okay? And we gotta be bigger than them. We can't allow those kind of people to make us anything like them in any way, shape, or form. We have to be better than the people that believe otherwise. If it's nothing to do with positivity, we don't need to be around these people. And Trump needs to make sure he's putting the right messages out there, because I'm hearing a lot about he is, writing off on certain gun laws, and he's doing things that are very unethical. And for this whole world's sake, let's just focus on the positive. Let's focus on what's important at hand. And it's so crazy because when you're focusing on what's important at hand, some people will tell you that's not important. You need to focus on this, doing this. Do what we're telling you to do. Don't let nobody tell you what's important to you. If you feel in your heart that you need justice for this situation, or you want to be left alone, or you need this, whatever you feel in your heart that you want done, you want this person to stay away from you, you want this to be done, that is your right to stand up for yourself and demand that justice, because nobody is going to just run your life. Literally. God is not going to have it, and I don't think you should either. Don't let anybody humble you. Don't let anybody little girl you, okay? Please don't. Because they will try to little girl you, they will try to humble you, and the whole time it's like, excuse me? Like, it's no child about me. I'm a grown-ass adult. You cannot tell me anything that I don't know or that I have not learned or that my mother didn't tell me. So, yeah, that's that, because I had to just say that. I see a lot of people thinking that they have all the answers, and only God has the answers. And I don't like how Trump is trying to dismantle the education system because we already know what that means. Erasing Black history, taking away what's important out of it. But I digress. I think that these children need protection acts, and we also need something called like internet cafes. I think gymnasiums, like a gym for children, like it will have gymnastics, swimming classes, like YMCA should not be the only thing created in this world. Like all of these entrepreneurs that are making juice bars and stuff like that, I think you need to make a children's gym. So for all the people out there that have the money, that have the resources and the government funding, and y'all, you know how y'all do, y'all need to make a children's gym, an internet cafe, something to help the children that you destroy on a daily basis with your prison cell schools and your non-curricular activities. I mean, these kids should be having cooking classes and sexual education as young as first grade, if you ask me. They should be learning about their bodies in kindergarten. All children should have sexual education classes. If you know that children are being targeted by predators and all of these things, why wouldn't children get sexual education classes in kindergarten and preschool? Why wouldn't there be anything taught to say don't touch? What are we learning today, guys? No touching. Today in class is about body parts. These are sensitive spaces that God made. See, when you touch here, it doesn't hurt as much as it hurts if you, sensitive spaces. People should not touch you there. Children should learn that. Why aren't children learning? Because these predators that run this world are trying to hide certain things from us. This is why we watch Disney channels that feed us lies, Nickelodeon that feeds us lies. They're giving the kids YouTube to feed them lies. And in all reality, we live in a world where they're manipulating and controlling the masses with false advertising and false hope. Because everyone is not going to be a superstar. Everyone is not going to be this. What we are, though, are we all are children of the Most High God, the Father in heaven, the light of this world, okay? The way, the truth, and the light, his son. So that's the truth of the matter. That's who we are, where we come from. But as far as being these robots that come home, go to school, go to maybe a little extracurricular, probably, and then go back to sleep. And then that is not a way to live. I think these kids should be able to come out of school, go to their little after school program. After school program, there should be mandatory gym. There should be a gym after schools, like a gymnastics after school programs. Give it a name. I will call it Kid Olympics, where the after school program that picks them up from school, where my son has a school like that. The school drops them from the school to the after school, and then from the after school they can go to swimming lessons. Because the after school is where you do your homework, if you ask me, right? Where the tutors are, where the educational substitutes are. They just help your kids with their homework. But after school, it should be like swimming lessons after you do your homework and stuff, right? Why do kids just go straight upstairs to read or like play video games and stuff? Like, that's weird to me. I don't know. And then we wonder why we have these kids that are dealing with a lot of things. They're on this internet a lot. And they're being exposed to so much. So many things that they don't have to see. So, you know, if you want to cut less internet time for children, give them more to do. After school program at 5 o'clock, there should be swimming lessons. There should be all type of things. Gymnastics. Why don't these minority children have gymnastics? That sucks. Why don't they have cooking classes for children that are minorities and like all of these things, home economics that we don't learn financial education that we don't learn. I mean, I feel like kids should be learning calculus in 8th grade the way these other races are. We are learning calculus in high school. And not even high school, maybe college they start. It's just pray for this world, y'all. That's what I'm saying. That's it. The message of the day is pray for America. And whatever ideas you have, do your research of how you can bring those to life. And if you have the resources, please open up a children's gym, a gymnastics gym in your community so we can be able to create more emotionally stable, healthy children, because swimming, you know, just doing backflips, I'm sure that just releases so much tension in the body, because that's why adults do yoga. So give it to the children. Give us gymnastics. Give the African American people more gymnastics. Give the minorities, period, all races, more gymnastics in their community, more, you know, better treatment so America can really be great again. And I'm serious, Trump. Trump, don't play with me. You hear me? Because just because you right don't mean you right. You need to get with God for real.